Hello, this is JJ DiGeronimo, January 2026, if you can even believe that. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about the 2026 energies. All the major outer planets have shifted and will be continuing to shift and get in place in 2026, as many of our guests can talk about in great detail. But this is really to introduce you further to the people that participate on the Together We Seek podcast and some of our friends in the astrological lightworker, healer, and mystic world. So today I'll be turning it over to them to talk about what they're doing and how you can connect with them and where you might be able to meet up with them in 2026. So, with that, maybe Judy, I'll start with you today.
Thanks, JJ. Pleasure to be here and excited about a new year ahead for all of us. Um, my name's Judy Onorato, and I'm up just outside of Toronto in Canada. And I've been working with astrology, numerology, Chinese metaphysics, and my intuition as my tools for probably close to 30 years now. And my specialty is really about helping people get back to oriented and in alignment with themselves. My favorite part when I use all of these tools is very much about how they give us an edge. How do we come back to that strength of knowing, that centeredness of knowing ourselves so well that we know what to take on and what not to take on and where we need help. And, the journey of the entrepreneur is trying to do everything. And, when you start to really know, no, this is my sweet spot, this is my niche, these are all these other parts, then you become more centered in yourself and calmer, and you get out of all this, you know, crazy. But at least I work with the people that don't want to be in the crazy chasing, but they're here to be productive and have an impact and feel good in the process of it. So very much about where our energy is and our enjoyment in the journey, as opposed to always focusing on what am I here to, which like that whole distant, always in the distant, always going after and always craving for. So um yeah, probably what do I need? You know, I love conversation. I've done speaking in the past, but I really much prefer podcasts and interviews and conversations. That really is my sweet spot. And so opportunities to be on podcasts, I'm always open to. Always love starting with a conversation. To me, it's like, let's know each other, know where we're at, and then we'll see where it goes. So I invite all of you to have a conversation and let's see, where do we go from there? That whole orientation piece, where do we go from here? How can we help each other? And who do I know that might I could lead you to, or give you some insight, a book I've read or whatever. And my focus in my work right now is really one-on-ones in helping people get set up for the year, and looking at the Chinese astrology gives me windows into being able to see where your assets are, what I call your energetic assets are for the year. Are you likely to be seen if you want to do a great big marketing campaign, or and most of the time I'm confirming your own intuition and just saying, look, you're right on, you can let that go, you don't have to be listening what everybody else is doing, this you're already on your course, or this is where you can tweak your course, and so you come back into more power and certainty within yourself as a result. So that's me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. And I love Judy. I'm getting ready to publish another book, and I met with Judy for about timing, like when should I do this? And we went through my chart for the whole 2026, and we're really plotting out like when to do things. And it's funny, it's going to happen just as you suggested. So I love that. So I really appreciate that time and helping me strategize on timing. Great. Linda or Mary, I know Caroline's on as well.
All right, I'll go. Um, I'm Mary, as you can see. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner right now and author, and just launched my first book in November. My the first half of my life was in entertainment, in television specifically, and mostly as a director, East, West Coast, news, sports, talk shows, and then eventually soap operas, a lot of them. And then I was guided to the Akashic Records. I'll just say that. And so I'm now blending. I feel like I'm coming out. I should say that this is a coming out time for me because I'm applying all of my assets maybe and talents into leading with the spiritual work, definitely. And the spiritual work was always informing my work as a director. I realize that more now since I've been working with the records. So since about 2008 until now, I was working as a practitioner, and I got 2 certifications from the Center for Akashic Studies in the Akashic Records. And I was mostly doing one-on-one readings. And then my own records guided me all throughout that time. And to this day, I still access my own records for expansion, guidance, you name it. I do believe that when we live through the lens, as this just for this resource called the Akashic Records, that when we live through the lens of our own divine imprint, life gets a lot easier and clearer, a lot. Things just make sense. And so now what I have received as part of my journey is that I am to bring the records from this ethereal space where they exist into life, into how we live and breathe in third dimension. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's informing my writing. I'm writing in the entertainment part. I haven't left that. So I am now writing, I have a teen series that's being pitched. I have, a screenplay that I've written that's with a distribution company right now. And my writing became more informed by my own personal work in the records. So we get to blend everything, and I'm a living example of that. So my coming out, it's not even need, but what I'm being guided to do, I sit and think, well, can I just keep doing one-on-one? Yes. But with the launch of my book, my publicist has brought me to, including how I met JJ, to do a lot of podcasts. So, Judy, I understand what you're saying. Doing podcasts is great because people are listening to this information. And I believe there's a greater, there's a greater movement of individuals who maybe never thought of this arena, this space, and they're craving it because I'm hearing from people who would hear me on a podcast from like 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm like, wow, that is really evergreen. So podcasting is great. I love it. I love talking about the records, as JJ knows, because we met already last week. And so I guess my next step is working on a second book. But besides that, I am in the process of creating what I think can be experiential workshops. And I don't want to just teach about the Akashic Records. There's enough out there about it. That's not who I am. I'm a gatherer. I like experiential. I love what happens when we all gather. I expand. Everyone expands. It's just, when I was director, I used to say, I'm not the director. I'm just sort of a traffic controller. I'm moving the energy that's already here, and we're all the same. And a lot of the other people I worked with, especially the producers and executive producers, they were threatened by me because they wanted me to be this, you're on a pedestal and you need to tell everyone what to do. That's not me. And so as a practitioner, that's not me. So that's what I think is next. I think workshops and, maybe joining on being an add-on, as I said, suggested to JJ, that maybe I'm an add-on to a retreat that's already happening, and they don't have this component. Maybe this Akashic Record component could add more breadth to the retreat itself. So that's what I'm thinking, and probably beginning my own show. I mean, like online, because I'm getting. I mean, the what happened a couple of days ago, which is I'm sure still in the hearts of all of us here. It has broken me on one level. It has just broken me. And that was a murder. And I opened up the Akashic Records of the United States. And the United States actually spoke because it's an essence. So I'm able to do this. So my work is expanding. And it's actually, I don't know if you guys are experiencing, gals, are experiencing this, but because the frequency is raising and going so much faster, like really faster, more is coming in. And I don't know, Judy, if you have this, there's just more coming in. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing ideas. And I'm going, wow, okay, is this another Substack? Is this something I have to write? And I think it's because we're expanding at lightning speed into our new Earth. So it's an exciting time. And I'm really glad to be here and meet all of you. Really.
So beautiful you're here, Mary. And Mary read my Akashic this week, and it was super helpful.
Good.
A word that came through was flickering. I need to
Oh,
be
yeah.
flickering more. And it's amazing when you do these connections with people. Like I have so many of the people that have joined here, they all give you nuggets and things, and they come back like throughout the week, the month, the quarter, and beyond, and even to connect all of you. And the thing I like, Mary, about your work is you could do it before a workshop or even after a workshop as an add-on. So, there's a lot of opportunity to include that for people that want that knowing going into a workshop of having sort of a North Star.
I have considered that absolutely. And I'm just trying to figure out how I create a system. I'll say I love Judy Carter's book, Power Your Profits. She talks about a system, holds up her book and says, "This isn't just a book. This is a system." What is the system where everyone can have that experience? And how do I manage that if a workshop has 100 people in it? I can't do Akashic readings. I mean, I guess I can, but I'm going to have to do it like a month ahead and get them all in kind of thing. So I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, awesome. Well, this is super time for you, Linda, to talk about retreats because I feel like you could give us insight being the host of many of these gatherings.
Oh, it's great to listen to all of you. It's really exciting that what each of you were doing, and what your journeys have been in degree. And so I've been most of my life I've practiced yoga. I started actually I was studying theater in New York in the early 90s. Like in 1990 I went off to study theater, mostly interested in stage theater, and that's when I walked into my first yoga class. And at that point, yoga was not popular in the United States. It was still like a very fringe thing, and it was a very traditional. That studio is still there. It's called Integral Yoga, very integrated into the tradition of yoga as it comes from the East. But of course, we all know the West takes something and expands it and makes it I guess makes it our own, but also sometimes messes it up a little bit too. Well, all of it's true. There's no one truth there. So I've been in the yoga world for a very long time, and mostly interested in the traditional teachings of it, not so much as an exercise form. And it touches upon everything that you're sharing, really, like each one of you are sharing. It's all connected. Yoga is about union, and that's really what we're seeing. And I agree with you, Mary, that as much as there's so much what appears to be destruction in the world right now, not just in this country, but across the world, there's so much consciousness floating in or coming in at the same time. And it's just really where we want to put our attention is what will manifest or not manifest or help create as a country, as a person too. So anyways, I've been teaching for a very, very long time, and that's been wonderful. Like a lot of studio classes, one-on-ones, workshops, and then over a decade ago, I started doing retreats. And I've let go the day-to-day teaching. The way I say it to people now is like I've been a foot soldier for a very long time, but I actually have like a bigger vision of how I want to, share or channel what comes through. And so I'm staying with the retreats for now. And the retreats, they've just blasted wide open too. You can see that if I don't know where you look for retreats or what you follow, but you know, they've blasted wide open. So there's retreats for like a few people, there's retreats for 30 people, there's retreats for like any number, there's retreats where you all stay together, there's retreats where you commute to a location and so forth. But like I said, I've found the international retreats to be the most, I guess, the most economical in a way, and the most probably exciting to people. I don't know that for sure because I've done local retreats and they've been well attended too. But I've been very blessed in having well attended retreats throughout the time that I've done them. So I'm happy to answer if you guys have specific questions around that. And there is a very good chance of collaboration because, you know, I invite people to collaborate with me most of the time. I have a woman that does this exceptional self-care work called Jinshu Jitsu, which is a Japanese practice. Most people haven't really heard of it. Have you guys heard of that, Jinshu Jitsu? Okay.
I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and she studied under the master that studied under the master. She's got like
Nice.
35, 40 experiences in it. And so she joins me in Mexico. She's joining me in February. And that's, by the way, I have 2 spots left if anyone's interested beyond this meeting or not. I have 2 spots left for that. Her name is Susan Brooks. And then I also have another person that comes along and teaches yin. So really where I've focused my ideas as far as the retreats go is to make them therapeutic in nature. And so that's who I collaborate with, are people that are therapeutic in nature. And we've been doing these winter retreats. We go to Troncones, Mexico. We've been doing them for over a decade, and we do 2 of them, one in January, one in February. The one in January is just like kind of, it just fills itself every time. The one in February I use as a little bit more experiential, and that's why I invited the Jinshu Jitsu practitioner in. And so that's been interesting. It's kind of has had a life of its own, and I went from having an art therapist collaborate with me to a life coach, and now Jinshu Jitsu. So it's kind of keeps evolving in that way. And there's always that opportunity with retreats. So for myself personally, I'm wanting to expand into more speaking. I love to speak. And also writing. I'm a writer, but I mostly just write my own programming. And I write for myself, but I've not really published anything. And not that I really have to publish anything. I don't know if that's the goal here, but I want to write in a way that maybe has a little bit broader impact. We'll see how that all unfolds. And I think that's all I really need to share for now, but I'm excited to be here, and I thank you all for listening and for sharing your gifts.
Thank you, Linda. It's so great to see you in person online. I appreciate that. And I just hosting a lot of retreats myself too. It's nice to have different energy and different retreats. And I don't know, Mary, there's a huge Facebook group called Retreats for Women. It's I don't
Really?
know how many people. I mean, 25,000 maybe. And I often see people put up, like, if you'd like to add Akashic Records to your retreat before or during, reach out to me. There's hundreds of retreats posted all the time on there each month all over the world. So
Well,
I think
thank you.
that's a good place
That's a
to go to.
Facebook, it's a Facebook group, you said?
Yeah, and I will find it for you.
That's
And then
wonderful.
Caroline's going too, and I'm glad you're on because Helen was on a couple months ago and she does feng shui and crystals, if you remember. And she reached out to me, and I'm going to put it in the chat. She's actually having that workshop that she had promised a couple months ago, that feng shui crystal grid workshop. It's on Thursday, the 22nd, at 11 or at 10 a.m. Pacific. And usually she charges for it, but she has a book that came out, and she's just asking if you've ordered the book to put a 5-star review up and just copy it in, and you can come to the class for free. And this is how you sign up. So that's in the chat. For those of you who haven't met Helen, she's awesome. She was on the podcast. She's created Aura Color Wheel, which I have over here. I can show you the Aura Color Wheel. And it's like all these different layers of knowing. So it's the birth chart, it's human design, it's gene keys, and she's created a quiz you can take for free at helencreatesbeauty.com, and it'll tell you what your color is. And your color can change over time, but it really is so right on. I was so surprised. So the quiz is free and you get a summary for free, and that's at helencreatesbeauty.com. And she's just really fascinating. Go back and watch her episode. But if you do want to go to her free workshop, it's in the chat. So Caroline, I've been saving that for you because I know you asked me.
Yes. Awesome. No, I loved Helen's energy when she was on the call. And so I was drawn to her automatically, and I purchased her book, and I also took the quiz. It's just a different modality to understand your energy. And yeah, it's great. She's published by Hay House. So, it's, it's significant.
She won their writers workshop if any of you have been participating, there's about 1,000 people that try to win their writers workshop. Most of them are funneled through Balboa, which is their secondary publishing company, but she actually won it. And one of the other people that have won the writing workshop is Rebecca Campbell. Many of you know her.
So cool.
So yeah, so it's a very powerful tool you can do for free. So there you go. Yeah.
I have a friend, JJ, who did the writer's workshop for Hay House, and I was going to recommend her actually to be on your podcast. So I have a couple people. Yeah. She does work
that.
With scent and the subconscious. So yeah, hard to kind of convey over video, but I've had a reading done with her and it was phenomenal. So she would have a lot to talk about with you. But yes, so thank you everyone. Hello, sorry I couldn't be on video earlier, but I try not to miss these because I think it's so important to have this community. Being dispersed as spiritual workers, I'm located in St. Louis. I know that you can find local communities of spiritual workers as well, but this is great to have where you can join online. So I've known JJ for about a year now. Last December is when I had my podcast. My business is based on astrology and helping people understand their birth charts as easily and as simply as possible. So I come from the corporate world, was there for over 15 years. The universe pushed me out of the corporate world. I had a whole Uranus transit in my 7th house in Taurus, and anyways, the whole backstory. But since then, I've been trying to bring my gifts to the world. So my focus is mainly on digital products, is my vision. So how do I make it easy for people to understand their birth charts? And how do I bring this to life for people that may not, that to be honest, they don't even know birth charts exist, right? And so it is like that middle ground between people who completely don't believe in it, which I'm not even trying to reach, but then maybe people that would be open to it. And of course there are barriers because maybe you could be open to it, but I don't know, you're more scientific. It's a whole range, right? But anyways, my gift is Bye, Judy. How do I reach people in a way and translate? So it's I sign my newsletters as the cosmic interpreter. How do I reach people and translate the language of the stars so that anyone can understand that we all have a birth chart and it's easily accessible now due to the digital age, and it's essentially your original personality blueprint. So I try to reach parents so that they connect with their children. Also, relationships are a big thing. I'm working on a karmic connection guide because my Chiron is in Taurus in my 7th house. So I've had a lot of wounding in my own relationships. So I've had to learn from that. And so they say you learn from your wounds, and now it's my, I don't know if responsibility, but I feel called to share that with the world also. So I know Judy had to drop, but she was talking about Chinese astrology. So I know we're entering the year of the horse. We're just finishing up the year of the snake, right? So shedding a lot. We've been in that 9-year energy last year of completion. We're in a 1 year now. So a lot of new beginnings. And I feel like I have been shedding a lot this past year. I can say that I cleared like 3 karmic relationship contracts. So a lot kind of buzzing in my mind about how to talk about this and also be comfortable with airing, not to say my dirty laundry, but it is sort of vulnerable to say my ex-boyfriend in college and this and that happened. And, you know, now I don't even really care if he sees it. He probably won't because he's just, even if he does, that's okay. But anyway, so yeah, a lot going on. But yeah, so Mary, it's so nice to meet you, and Linda. Mary, I lived in New York City for 11 years, so yeah, that place is near and dear to my heart. I moved there after college and met my now ex-husband, had my son there at NYU.
Yeah.
Lived on Manhattan, then Brooklyn, and for a bit. So it's yeah, it's a lifetime ago. I moved back home to St. Louis, so that's where I am now. But I am drawn to people, I think, from the East Coast. I think in my like astrocartography, it kind of runs through like New York, like that tri-state area. But they say that even if you don't live in the place where you're kind of meant to be, that you connect with people that are from there or have that energy. And I found that to be the case. I thought that was helpful when someone explained it to me that way. But because sometimes we can't live, you know, it's like you look at your astrocartography and they're like Egypt. And I'm like, well, that's great. I don't know if I'll ever be moving to Egypt anytime soon. But what else? So I know I've mentioned on this call before, Unanara. JJ, I've mentioned it to you.
Yes, you have. You want to share what it is?
Yes. So Unanara is a brand new platform, and I can type it in the chat. The founder of it likes to call it the Netflix of healing. So it's basically like on demand and live classes with somatic healing practices, so breath work, spinal energetics, which I think JJ, the founder, would probably be a good person for you to have on your podcast too. I did not know what spinal energetics were, but it's kind of like Reiki, but it's working with energy of the spine. And she like doesn't touch you, but then like the videos are like people just, their bodies are moving even though she's not touching you. So super interesting. But I did just want to talk about the platform, and you can actually apply to be a facilitator on the platform too. You are not paid, but you get paid if people view your videos. So that's kind of, I think it's just good exposure. So I'll put that link in the chat. Currently they do like a 7-day free trial if you want to join. And they have a good amount of live sessions every week, because there is something to be said about being live. And I know some of the things that they offer, like sound bath healing. I mean, you could go to your local yoga studio and participate in that. But sometimes if you're just like on the couch on the weekend or late at night, you may feel called to, you know, listen to something like that. So it's just a format that isn't out there at this time. It's really well put together, so I highly recommend that. And I think that's it basically. So
That's great. If you could put the URL, that would be great in the
let me
chat.
do that.
You just did a class on there, I know, last week, or yes, I saw that. So that's great.
Yeah, so I do numerology.com. I'm going to be doing monthly. And so you have to do the HTTP. I didn't, or else it doesn't.
Sure. We'll write it
Yeah.
down. That's perfect.
Yeah, sorry. But
That's perfect.
I do monthly astrology sessions where I'm going to be doing a monthly forecast for the month ahead. So I did one for 2026, and January 28th, I'm going to be doing one for February astrology. And I think it's been mentioned here on this call, there's a lot going on. Like 2026 is one of those years. I'm not going to bring up 2020, but it is one of those years where astrologers knew something was going to happen in 2020. They didn't quite know how it was going to pan out. But 2026 has probably even more energy than that year. So it's good to know about the transits. It's good to know how they can impact your birth chart, just to kind of know the forecast and weather. It's like the weather, right? It's like what's coming down the pike, even though we can't completely predict. But if it's transiting your relationship house, I don't know. I mean, some people want to know, some people don't want to know. And it's all fascinating, but yeah, so that's what I do, and super
Oh,
excited.
good. So good. And this one's a lighter one this month. Usually we have 9 to 12 people usually. So if you guys have any questions or any other things that you want to add before we wrap up, I think it's so good that all of you have a New York connection, which is super interesting. All three of you have lived in New York for a longer period of time. It wasn't just a year. So that's sort of, you're an L on my screen. So that's kind of neat that all of you have that connection.
Yeah.
We're attracting each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
And I do want to say, Caroline, I am so happy to hear you say that you want to teach people, well, maybe teach is not the right word, but birth charts, any kind of charts. I love Pam Gregory. I've been following her for years, right? She's fabulous. And I love what she's now doing. Like, wow. But when she would put her charts up, it was just like, I'm sorry to the pun, Chinese. I wanted to know more about it, and it always looked so complicated to me, like it scared me. So I think it's so important to bring it in so that people can really take power over their own lives by using that resource, which is so important.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's true. People get overwhelmed. And a lot of people don't understand, like, well, they know their sun sign, like whatever month they were born in.
Yeah.
We all have all 12 zodiac signs in our birth chart. It just depends on where it falls. And yeah, so there's definitely a wide open market. It's just about getting, how do you market the material? But I'm excited for the year ahead. And one other thing I wanted to mention. So yesterday I did a hypnosis. Has anyone here done like a subconscious hypnosis? Or yeah. So I just wanted to plug that. It was free. Someone was offering it. And there is another free one this Saturday. Because now that I responded to that ad, and I know, so the man who did it, his fiance, I know from the Unanara platform. So I don't think I would have responded to like a hypnosis ad or something, but I recognized him. Okay, yeah, right? But I was like, well, I know him kind of through that woman. So let me just, I did. I mean, he had 2,000 people attended. It was wild. He lives in Dubai. Like they have a crazy story how they met online, like their energies aligned. I think he's from London, she's from the US, and now they live in Dubai. Super great couple and one of those internet stories. But anyways, I just wanted to plug that because it was free. It wasn't very long, but I already feel like it was super helpful. He did a visualization of like paths in our lives, and one path where you like didn't like, basically at the end of your life and you're looking back and like, what if you hadn't taken the steps that you wanted to take and like visualize that and then visualize taking the steps. I'm summarizing it, but it was very powerful because it's almost like, yeah, why aren't I just doing what I want to do? Or like just taking those actions. So, and they call it the shortcut to procrastination and all of that. So I don't know. I feel energized now because I'm like, you know what? You just have to implement. So,
I can tell. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I did want to share one more thing. So one crossover that I've seen in my life, and maybe, I don't know, Mary, because you come from an art background, I consider television production and directing all art too, but I'm really wanting to cross those over more, the art and the healing, because I think they're so important. And so so I studied theater for quite a while in New York City, and went off, and I lived overseas for a while. I got interested in like a very physical form of theater. Mary, do you know the name Jerzy Gotowski? Some people do, some people don't. It's a very theater-oriented name. It's not really like...
No, I don't actually.
Well, he's a Polish man that brought this very physical theater to the world in the 70s. And so anyways, so I've been, I go to live theater. I love live theater, and I love like one-woman shows. And maybe like 15, 20 years ago, someone approached me to see if I wanted to work on a women's show about a woman. I'll say her name, and you guys let me know if you know who she is. Her name's Jeanette Rankin. Does anyone know that name?
Jeanette Rankin, no.
Well, this is what's crazy, and this is why I feel like we have to marry art and our skills here. She was the first woman voted into the U.S. Congress in 1917 or 18.
Oh, wow.
And she's not in one history book. She's not like in a single history book. She moved the mountains as far as like, she was a peace activist. So she served in Congress before World War I, before World War II, and then she had something called the Jeanette Rankin Brigade during the Vietnam War. where she lived till she was like in her 90s. Just a powerful woman, like so powerful. And so someone approached me, like, do you want to, he was a writer, and he's like, do you want to, do this together, da, da, da. It wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't the right time for him. But I went to see what the Constitution means to me on Broadway a couple years ago. I don't know if you saw that show, but it was phenomenal. Did anyone see that show on Broadway? Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. Written by Heidi, and I can't remember her last name, but really showing how our Constitution of our country, how it really relates to like everyday life for women. It was just so powerful.
Nice.
And how it hasn't really protected any of us from like violence, from physical violence and so forth. And then I just was in New York again, and I saw the play Liberation, which I highly recommend if you get to New York. And that's not a one-woman show, but just so well done. So anyways, this has like come up for me. I'm like, oh, maybe this is like, maybe I'm going to revisit this idea of, and I don't know if it'll be a one-woman show or what it will be, but to really introduce, and Jeanette has been introduced to the world through another artist, but she really just went for the peace activist side of it, where I have an idea, like my idea is to make it a little more broad so that it can touch more, it resonates with more people. And so anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like if I give it a little air, it might, it might unfold. We'll see how it goes. And I have ideas.
I would love to give it more air, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So such great stuff coming from Divine. And what I've been hearing and what is coming up in clients, one client after another, is this idea that two things. First of all, the things that we are drawn to, as you were just describing, Linda, when we're really drawn, the things we lose sleep over, the things that it just keeps coming up, or we can't stop thinking about it, okay? Very important. It means it's part of that's the clue. It's part of our entire journey here, okay? And it never means something gets put on a shelf and something is over there. That's the old paradigm. The old paradigm has taught us that, okay, like me, oh, you spent 20 years in television, okay. And most podcast hosts ask me like, well, you went from there and now you're here. And I have to always say, well, I'm a blend of the two. And when you were describing that, Linda, I was seeing, I just see things more. And I was seeing that, and I don't know you and your work but up until now, but that whatever happens from what people do from your mastery, there's something about that signature that is going to play into how you write. So it's not one or the other. It's letting the breath of that, the signature of that, and it has to do with what happens with what you bring to yourself, whether it's through yoga and going further, and to others, that what happens has a signature to it. It's an essence. And that essence flowing through you and coming from you and marrying with what you just described and more projects like that is what is going to be unique to you and very much needed. That's what I'm hearing.
Thank you for that reflection.
You're welcome.
Very powerful.
And thank you for sharing that. That I could see it. It's very beautiful. And it may just simply be, and I say simply, can I really write? I mean, I'm not saying you're saying this, but I was shown by my own records that I was a writer, and I argued with my records, and I was sitting at a computer one day and said, no, I'm not, I'm a director. I'm arguing with my Akashic Records, like what? And my records said, no, Mary, there's an imprint here of you. And probably, Linda, if you were in your records, there'd be an imprint, I guess, of you writing, right? Writing transformational stuff, right? And so what I did was I didn't understand, and I was scared of it, and I just didn't think about it and released. I sort of just, I surrendered. And then no sooner did I surrender, I got a call to write a screenplay and be paid to write it. And so, there it is. It's the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And I was scared to write. I was like, oh, I can't. I didn't grow up writing, all that old paradigm stuff. And it
Yeah.
was like, and my records actually, the energies of my records said, Mary, we're with you every step of the way. This is what is being shown as part of your soul's journey. So I just had to know it to be so and
Right.
not get in my own way.
Well, even as you say it, I'm like, well, I was going to hire a writer.
No, I think it's in you.
That's so interesting because I think like you, I say, I'm not a writer. I'm like,
Right, right.
but it feels personal. So maybe I am the writer. Who knows?
Well, you can play around with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you for that
Sure.
reflection. It's really
You're
powerful.
welcome. You're welcome.
I'll just chime in with, so we have the New York connection, and then I never acted professionally, but it was a big part of growing up and into high school. So like I had the lead in my high school, like senior year. I did a summer study program at a university. So I definitely feel those vibes from you, Mary, too, and Linda, but the theater, the directing, I never really went past high school. I tried in college, but I look young. I'm like in my 40s, but anyways, it was difficult to like, I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, but it wasn't in the cards for me. But I can appreciate like the theater, because in high school, that was my thing. I was a thespian. So,
Well, and the fact that you're bringing it up right now, Caroline, is interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, well, it helps
Right,
to
Yes.
see
JJ?
out in the world. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I think maybe you should explore something locally. Yes.
I do too.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'll look as soon as I launch all my digital products.
Look, she likes that idea. I see it. It's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
you.
And
It's
I
like,
think in parallel, not as
Yeah,
soon as,
yeah.
parallel. Well, this is amazing. Every month completely fascinates me because I'm always, my ego gets in the way of like what it should be and different things. But I feel like there's so much power in every call for exactly who shows up. And I'm just so honored that you would take your precious time to join all of us, share who you are, what you're working on, and your imprint, your astrological imprint, and also your human imprint. So thank you so much for just energizing me. I mean, I'm going to leave this call feeling fluttery. I just love it.
Me too.
Yes. And so I'll be sending out another one for 2026. So you'll see another invite come because this is the last one for this series. So we'll get started again next month, second Friday of the month at 11 a.m. So I look forward to seeing you then. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful January 2026, and we'll see you next month.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Awesome.